once again a bit more code. And if you tinker with the James idea, right, the James and the Ham, right, and you tinker with it a bit, right, you get the tame idea, right. Again, tinkering with the sort of J and H, right, and the tame is love in French, right, like je t'aime and all that, right, that which was a famous song and that, right, Serge Gainsbourg or something, right. So if you take that as an example of it, right, the tame idea, right, if you remember that song, right, you can just imagine the sort of the T's having a good laugh at that, the sort of duality of it, because profanes were interpreting that sort of song, right. If you remember that song, it's like this sort of you know, it was about sex type of idea, wasn't it? You know, it's like this sort of grunting noises and stuff like that. See, so you can imagine the sort of the duality of them, sort of the T's having a laugh at that, because obviously the profanes interpret the je t'aime idea as like a sex thing, see, and these T's interpret as this sort of high-minded love principle and all that. You see what I mean? They take the superior type of mentality. You see what I'm saying? So it means, so when you tinker with the James and the Ham, right, it becomes tame, right, and they've got here in that idea, right, you've got the idea of taming the beast, right, taming the animals, right, like taming of the shrew, right. So you've got the idea again, like the breaker, the tamer, you know, like a lion tamer. See what I mean? The breaker, the horse breaker, like James being the breaker and all that. See, so you've got the idea of the breaker and the tamer, right? So obviously that is you know, relates perfectly well to the sort of idea of domesticating you know, livestock and sort of neutering livestock and making them into some, you know, like a domesticated animal and that. See what I'm saying? Which is basically the T program, right? Taking wild animals, breaking them, taming them, neutering them, and then sort of putting them to work in the, you know, in a useful purpose for these you know, for these people and all that. Obviously the Royal Society or whatever. You see what I mean? That's the whole game in a nutshell, like, right? So you've got the tame idea, right? Again, like you've got all these names like Haim and stuff. I remember when I was a sports presenter on the TV called Roger Thames. See, Roger Thames. So you've got that idea of the tame, the love, you see, the love, which is what the obviously to think the T program is, the love, as in the sort of high-minded way, right? And obviously when you have naturals, they interpret the love idea, oftentimes sort of confuse it with the sort of you know, the physical sort of sex idea and all that. See what I'm saying? So they must have a good laugh at that. You see what I'm saying there? Like, you know, there's always that type of duality, as we know, behind all the stuff, right? So the sort of breaker, tamer idea, see, and then the love, see. So it's like I take it a type of you know, they've got the idea of like, you break the horse or the animal, right? You break it, and then you sort of show it love often. You know what I mean? It's strange as like, and we could see the tame idea, right? And they're referring to the breaker idea, right? I remember when, you know, when I was a kid, that record breakers on the telly, right? Record breakers, which was Roy Castle, right? Roy Castle is obviously the King's Castle and all, right? And they had a twin idea, right? Like the James idea. They had Norris McWhirter on the record breakers, right? And his brother, his twin brother, was supposed to be a Tory MP who was assassinated by the IRA, right? And obviously a hex, because the IRA becomes the air, sort of hollow spirits of the air, the prince of the air or something, which is sort of written in the Bible. So it's basically a hex in it. You know what I mean? And a bit more knowledge is relating all this together, right? If you come back to the Die Furnish video, right? The Die Furnish darts player, the character's nickname was the Smurf, right? So in the Smurfs, you've got Father Abraham is the sort of head Smurf in that, see? Father Abraham. So you're back to the same ideas again, the James idea, the tame idea, you know. So it's like the father of love type of Abraham.